Hello and welcome to the Rise Sister Rise podcast. I'm Rebecca Campbell and I'm really, really happy to be here with Denise Duffield-Thomas today. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to chat to you as well.
Pleasure. And Denise is a money mindset mentor. She's also creator of the Lucky Bitch Empire. And I call it an empire because I just think it's an amazing brand. The first time I heard of the phrase Lucky Bitch, I was like, yes, I like this woman. And Denise has got this awesome, how I got to know Denise is I signed up for her Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp, which is really, it's for female entrepreneurs who are ready, in my mind, to kind of up level and really commit to putting their work out in the world in a way that they're not like restricted to fitting into a model or a box of how life should be. And I love Denise's work, and I'm constantly referring a lot of my clients, like mentor clients and people in my soul sessions, to Denise's work, particularly when we are in a job that doesn't fit and we've got all these ideas and we want to make them happen. And then also all the healers out there who, I've been there, so many of us have been there, where we're showing up and doing our client work and we're feeling guilty for raising our prices and we're being really attached to what we're worth per hour and really burning ourselves out. As you guys know, I'm really passionate about all of us light workers, people who are devoted to service work, being of service to ourselves first so we can then be of service to others. And the reason I wanted to share Denise's tools and work with you guys today is because I think that she's got some really amazing, very simple tools which can help you just really get over that hurdle which is stopping you from being like, this is the way things should be. Because I believe that this era that we're living in, particularly as women, we are redefining what it means to be a woman. And I think that one of the big parts around that is, and particularly how to lead from the feminine. And I think one of the big parts around that is really healing our relationship to money and worth. And so happy that you're here, Denise. I'd love if you could share with everyone listening just a little bit of a background on like your money story and, how you've broken the chain around all of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just want to share a mantra before I start, and it's I serve, I deserve. And I think it's particularly important for your audience as well, listening, because so many of us serve and just go, no thanks to receiving anything in return because we think it's bad or unethical or whatever. And when you realize that it has to be a circle of giving and receiving, then you allow yourself to profit in every way from your work, profit financially, but in other ways too. So I grew up in a council estate with a single mom, and we didn't have much money, but I think what's interesting now with the work I do, the amount of money you were raised with doesn't have a direct correlation to your money blocks in your adult life. And I really thought that, if you grew up poor, then you'd have money blocks. And if you grew up rich, your life would be perfect in some way. And it's not the case. Whenever I do any polls of women and I go, how did you grow up? Rich, poor, middle class, and what do you feel about that? It's so different. People will say, oh, well, I grew up, I didn't know I was poor. I felt rich. Some people said, my parents were millionaires. I didn't know. I always thought we were poor. I felt poor. And I didn't really feel anything about money except that men had it and women didn't. That was my big message. It was men have all the power, and my mum was a single mum, but she had relationships with men, usually older men who had a little bit of money, and I saw how that power dynamic played out, and it just taught me, reinforced again and again, men have all the power and women don't. And so I really struggled when I went into the corporate world because I was very I think intimidated by men, and I didn't know how to play that kind of corporate game. But I also knew that I really desperately wanted to work for myself. And since I was really young, I had been I wouldn't say a light worker because I still am a bit woo like in the closet, I think.
Oh,
But I was a
me too.
motivator. Yeah.
Most people
I'm like,
in the closet when they woke up young.
yes. I'm like, am I allowed to play with crystals? I don't know. But I was a motivator from a very young age. And I was someone who was always telling people about books and goal setting and all this stuff from a young age. But I didn't think that was a job. I didn't know how I could make money from that. So I tried a lot of different things that were so out of alignment with really who I was. But I was like, oh, ebooks are a thing now. I'll write an ebook about internet dating. Like, oh, okay. And, I'll try MLM. That, really wasn't aligned with who I was. And so I very realized, there's something that was blocking me. And when I met a lady called Kendall Summerhawk, who sort of your audience might know, she talks about money, mindset, and I think it's money, marketing, and soul is her thing. And she talked about this concept of money blocks, and it resonated with me so clearly. And I think dealing with my own money stuff gave me permission to then work as a life and business coach. I was like, this is my calling to help people. And I started to tell them about money stuff. And then it kind of grew from there. I decided to run a group, and, almost 3,000 women later, that's kind of my calling. And I rejected it though. I think a lot of your audience might hear that you've got a calling from the universe, but you go, but I'm not an expert, or I'm not perfect yet. I can't take that calling on until I'm perfect. And I just decided to be a contributor instead of pushing myself to be a guru, or giving myself the pressure that I had to be a financial guru. And then when I embraced that, that's when a lot of things shifted for me. And I was like, oh, I can just chill and be me and, share my message.
I think that's why I recommend so many people to your newsletter list, because what you share in that, and also in your money boot camp, is it's just so real. And it's like, you're kind of forging the path on behalf of others, and I think in this age as well, that's really what it's about. It's like that era of the guru and the teacher up on the pedestal. It's like that is going. And, and I think that, like you so beautifully said, this thing of going, oh God, I'm not the expert. How could I possibly do that? I think so often the calling it's like they say it's like the reluctant call, where it's like, how could I possibly make that my calling? And yet it's that thing that we most need to learn that's the life's work. And so I think if there's anyone listening who's kind of like, oh God, there's this thing I'm passionate about, and this is what I'm learning and all of that, and I do feel called to share it, but who am I to do it? It's like, that is the perfect sign. And particularly, I often say, it's like the fear is the gatekeeper to the gift. And, we need real people who are forging the path, rather than saying, here's a step-by-step process. Because
yes.
I was thinking just before we got on the call, I was like, what is it that resonates so much to me about Denise's work? And I was like, okay. And I realized it's the stories you tell, and I want to share that with the audience, because it's like I remember in one of your emails, you said something about like your obsession with Oprah, which, by the way, I think I equal that.
Oh my God. Yes.
It's
I love
the
her
stories
so much.
that you share in the process of going like, oh, I really fucked up, or this was a real trouble for me. And then this is how I overcame, and here are the tools. And I think what's so great, particularly about the Money Boot Camp, is the tools are so simple. It's not like you have to, because, like many people on the call listening here, and so many of us, I sign up to so many freaking courses and I just don't do them. When I saw yours, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I'm so relieved. It's like, it's so simple. I will be able to complete this.
It's deep, but it's not hard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's totally okay. But it's funny about this contributor thing, right? Yeah. What I also want to share about that is, if you care so deeply about the topic, whatever it is, that more people have more health in their life, or, experience the power of crystals, or healing, or whatever, if you care so much about that topic, then contribute your voice to the conversation, because you might be the voice that tips it over into the mainstream. And that's okay. Once you realize that, then you go, well, who cares if lots of people are doing it? This can only be good for the world, right? And the power of story is so important, because everyone's doing the same thing, really. Like, there's so many people, but what's going to be different is the way you tell it and the stories that you bring up. And someone needs to hear that story. That's going to be the key that fits in their lock. And without your take on it, they might never hear it.
Beautiful. I so agree with that. And what advice would you have for, the healers or service focused people out there who, I think particularly starting out, but even when you're along the way, you'll always get people going, well, you should be offering this service for free. Why are your events so expensive? Or why are your sessions so expensive? Aren't you here to help people? What would you say to them?
Yeah, this is perfect, right? Here's the scenario. For some healers, they give of themselves so much that they have back to back sessions with people, all day long. And there's no time or space or creativity to create things that could actually potentially go out to a lot more people for free. I'm talking about blogs, podcasts, writing a book, which you could either give for free or sell at very low cost. So it's kind of ironic, right? Because you think, I want to help everyone. But when you don't charge well for what you do and you give of yourself too much, you're really crunching the amount of people that you can help in a week, right? But if you create some space by charging beautifully for what you do, having boundaries around what you do, then maybe you've got a couple of hours free, or just like 10% of energy free, where you can write a weekly blog post. And so when someone comes and says, I need you for free, well, here's this wealth of information that I give away. Here's some meditations that I give away. Here's my book that you can, purchase low cost. Then you can do Facebook Lives. You can give of yourself so much more when you've got space. It's that whole thing about, you can only give what you've got. And if you're emptying your cup all of the time by burning yourself out, then you're really not helping that many people. So you've got to sacrifice sometimes in the short term, not helping everyone, so you can help more people overall. And I feel okay about that now. When someone, comes to me, I really need help with my money stuff. Great. I have more than 300 articles on my blog. That doesn't happen by accident. I needed time and space to create those. Here are some free audios or free workshops that you can go and do. I might not be able to help them literally one-to-one, but I've created things that they can use and tools that they can use right then and there. And that, honestly, that will open up your impact to hundreds, thousands, even millions of people, really, if you want to have that kind of impact. And then the abundance that you receive in return for doing that work, you can use in great ways. You can hire people to help you and grow your empire even more. You can, donate to charities. You can do lots of things. But if you're just keeping yourself, oh my God, I have to work with everyone. I mean, how many clients can you really possibly physically take on in a week? I've seen people take on like 100 in a week kind of thing to jam in every space.
It's
There's
so crazy.
No room.
I think so many of us have done that, where it's just like you just you end up parched at the end of it. And and then you see that, I think a common thing, and if this is happening to you guys, where you're a healer or a coach or whatever, and you've got your sessions and you're saying the same thing over and over again, and it's kind of annoying you, it's a good sign that needs to be turned into a product, which can
absolutely
other people. So that if you are getting frustrated, that's actually a really good sign. Don't beat yourself up over it. And
I was going to say, the block around that, usually people go, oh, the result's not the same doing it like that. But I think the block is on us. We think we're cheating by profiting from something that we've already created.
Yes,
because the impact can be amazing for people. You can create things like the courses and then create a group, like with my Money Bootcamp.
Yeah. But
really, the block is, oh my God, am I allowed to make money from something that I've created once? Is that allowed?
Yeah, I so see that. And what about when you're kind of setting your prices? Because I think where so many of us trip up is, if we just use say an online course or even just a 1 hour session, we go, oh, okay, 1 hour of my time is worth X. But then we kind of forget the university degree, every single course, every single book, all of that stuff that we've done, which actually has gotten us to that point. And then also, it's not so much about the hour of time. It's the time that the person listening or doing the session with us is going to save, and the money they're going to save through our life experience, right?
Yes, absolutely. The thing that I see too is even people who charge by the hour often over give and over deliver, thinking that they're doing people a service. It's like, I remember my first coaching kind of year, hour-long sessions would turn into 2.5 hours because I was like, more is better. And by the end of it, my clients were just like, I'm so overwhelmed by your enthusiasm. And so I think that it's really common to think, oh, I have to give so much to justify that return. And you're right. You have to remember you are shortcutting people's success. They're borrowing your 10,000 hours of expertise, and you're making them look and feel better. Whatever it is that you do, transform their lives, and you deserve to be paid for that expertise. Absolutely. So I think one of the first things I get people to do, rather than even increase their prices, because some people are just not there yet, energetically, is to set some of those boundaries and to not try and give 20 years of your life experience into 1 hour so you can justify being charged for it. Start to be okay to even to say to people as well, this is not going to happen in one session. We need to work together over 3, 5, 7 sessions, whatever it is. That's not making money off people. That's giving people the chance to have deep transformation. So start there. Some people are just so not ready to increase their prices, but they just have to be comfortable even just charging, full stop.
Absolutely. And then what about manifesting? Because I know that's your field. What are your favorite manifesting tips or tools that you're just loving at the moment?
Right now, oh my God, I am loving awareness anchors. So to explain what that is, oh my God, I love it. So when you're manifesting something, it can be really hard to know how often you should think about it. When you just think, oh my God, do I just wish all day? Because you've got shit to do, right? There's life and
am I making that happen then, or yeah,
and you can become a bit frantic about it because you're like, I will, I must. And so I like all these unconscious anchors in my life to remind me of my goal, but aren't super try-hardy. And for an example of that is I'm manifesting buying this particular piece of land at the moment. And so I've got a shot of it on my phone. And you might just think, oh, whatever. But you look, even just in the corner of my eye, I'll see that and I'll pick it up and I'll go, and every time it's just an unconscious anchor of oh my God, how exciting. And Abraham Hicks talks about really, spending 17 seconds in intense looking at your goal or visualizing. And we don't always remember to do it. So I've just got all these little unconscious things. I see my phone. Oh my God, how exciting. My password of my computer is my income goal at the moment. Type that in. And I might not consciously be oh, my income goal, but I have to type it in multiple times a day. And I've got a little crystal grid over there at the moment, and it's got a little folded up piece of paper with stuff about this piece of land in it. And every time I see it, I might not even be consciously aware of it. It's just another anchor of belief that kind of creates this amazing foundation in your day of these little unconscious anchors. I have pop-ups on my phone as well. I love that one, where you just go to the calendar in your phone, set a daily reminder, and it will come up and it will go, congratulations on the purchase of your house, or congratulations on selling 1 million books, or whatever it is. I think I've got about 5 in one day. So they're the ones I'm loving at the moment. And you know what? Same ones that I used 6 years ago when I, was just starting out. There's no real advanced kind of secrets. I always just go, I do the basics. I do the same things I've always done.
Awesome. Cool. Well, everyone, I want you to check out Denise. I'm going to have a whole lot of links below if you feel like you could do with some support. And I know if you're a healer or an entrepreneur or anything, I think Denise's work can really, really support you. So check that out. And also check out Denise's Money Bootcamp. Can you tell us about what's happening now with your Money Bootcamp?
Yes. So when I first started the boot camp, it was just going to be like a one-off kind of thing. And so I ran a live round of it with live calls and election stuff. I think I had maybe 20 people in that first round. And then I was like, maybe I should run it again. Why not? So I think I ran it maybe 4 times the first year and 2 times the second year. And then I turned it into an evergreen course, which meant that people could join at any time. Everyone was starting lessons at different times. And luckily, we've got a great community. And just recently, I felt just such a big shift that's happening in the entrepreneurial world at the moment. I think people are feeling a little bit panicky about their launches, about their money, about their business direction. There's a little bit of a sense of like the sky is falling in at the moment. And I just thought, this is a time, we haven't done a live round in 3 years. And now's the time to do it again, because I feel like we need to complete some stuff to end out this year, so that everyone can start 2017 really fresh and kind of ready to go and ready to make a big impact. So we haven't done a live round for 3 years. So I'm like, let's do a live round. So that's happening first week of November for 6 weeks. We're doing live calls, we're doing group challenges, all sorts of fun stuff. So you'd be manifesting with 3,000 other women from all different professions, lots of healers, lots of coaches, not just all business people. We've got heaps of naturopaths and crystal chicks in there, like some amazing women. And that's all happening, that's all happening right now. So I think if you've been wanting to work on your money blocks, if maybe you've even known about the boot camp before and you've been wanting to jump in, now's kind of the time to do it. And we do have an early bird rate as well that ends 27th of October. So Rebecca will have all of the links down below. We would absolutely love to see you in the boot camp and to finish out this year, which has been tough for a lot of people, I've been hearing.
Well, it's a 9 year, isn't it? It's like, it's completion time.
Oh my God, it's going to be perfect.
It's been a hard year for pretty much everyone, I think.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. To be honest, I've been kind of a bit in a bubble because I had a baby and a second baby this year. So I hadn't realized how much there was some people in our industries really suffering right now and really stressing about it. And I mean, this is the time for us to really declutter everything that's not working for us anymore.
It's so true. It's the decluttering, because I think the 9 universal year, and thinking we're going into 1 as well, it's all about letting go of what is falling away and what's been wanting to fall away. And I think often it's these identities, and maybe with money it's like being attached to the hard worker, being attached to the one who is of service to everyone first. These identities which have been necessary and have been necessary to get us to where we are right now. But I think from me teaching people and sessions and all of that, what I'm really saying is that these old identities, it's now time to let them go. And the universe is trying to let's pull it. And so it's time to release. And so, I hadn't put those two things together with you doing the live launch, but I think I'm getting chills right now. That's really cool.
The 2 stereotypes that need to go is the broke healer and the rich bitch.
Yes.
Because there's something really cool in between. And that is the caftan wearing, crystal loving woman with a big heart, but also someone who is a good stewardess of money. And, we're reclaiming our power and money, and it's going to look very different to what has come before around money. There's no more space for the rich bitch, so don't worry, it's not one or the other. You don't go from
so true
killer to rich bitch.
And I think I love how you put that as in the caftan wearing. And by the way, Denise got me onto I'm always looking for good caftan designers, and so we'll put her name here as well in the links. But this new, I've just written a book called Rise Sister Rise, and one of the main things that came through in that was like this whole leading from the feminine. We are working out what that actually means. And yes, the feminine's been rising for a long time, but so many of us, we don't have a model to follow. And so we are creating that model. And and I'm realizing now talking to you how crucial the money piece is with that. particularly, you know, Dalai Lama said the world will be saved by the Western woman, right? And you can take that however you want to mean it. But, you know, this entrepreneurial female leadership, which so many of us have been called to really pioneer, it's like we are paving the path for ourselves and then all the women around us and who will come after. And so, yeah, that's so cool. I'm so glad you're doing it this year in that way. And so I want to offer anyone who wants to, like, feels the call to be supported by Denise and to kind of shake off the money books for in the year of 9 and all of that. Woo! I want 6 months of my Rise Sister Rise sisterhood as a gift and incentive and an extra support to anyone who feels called to join the Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp community. That's both of us cool. Just want to support everyone on the call in doing that and really stepping up and I think really like stepping into the work and the creations that you came here to create and to do it in a sustainable way. Yes. It doesn't have to be hard. And you know, it's not about being in full bloom all year round. It's about honoring the season you're in and creating a business and a lifestyle, regardless where you are along that spectrum. You might be in a job right now that you hate and you're trying to think of what the next idea is. Or you might be, you know, a freaking hard-ass lady boss who's just exhausted and you're like, okay, I need time to rest a little bit more. So, yeah, we're here to support all of you. And, I hope that you've enjoyed today's conversation with Denise. I certainly have. And, yeah, thanks so much, Denise, for joining us. And I hope the launch goes really well.
Thank you so much. And one last thing I want to say, actually, when you said about we all have to step up, you know, and we have to be the ones, and it is a calling, not just a calling to step into your career, but a calling to step up as a woman like that. And I really got that, you know, in our community, I don't want anyone to think it's like, oh, it's a student community, everyone's a student of me. It's so not about that. I see it as a council meeting. We're coming together to at like a leadership council, and then we're turning away and we're helping our communities and stepping up. So because some people go, oh, you're the queen bee, and I'm like, why don't we just be a council of queen bees? Like, we're all coming together.
Well, that's the thing. And that's what this era is about, right? It's not about the teacher up top, and it's the circle of women is coming back together. And, you know, women have been gathering in that way since ancient times, but somewhere along the way, fucking patriarchy, whatever we want to call it, that has changed. And yeah, I love that you clarified that. Because I wholeheartedly, that's the same as the sisterhood. It's like, it's the gathering of people, of women coming together, filling up our wells and, you know, realigning whatever we need so we can then go off and serve in whatever way that we're called.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed. We have to have more of these, I think.
I agree.